G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Draw with JAZZA. I'm JAZZA and this is the Artist Showcase video series where you guys send me your artwork and I show 10 of them a week on this showcase series, and one of them is picked to be on the front page of Newgrounds. So, getting started, the first piece is by artist Pros and Cons, but spelled funnily, and it's called Sven and His Mighty Pantaloons. Now, of course this is going to get to me because it's a Dota 2 picture, and Dota 2 is my favourite computer game, but being completely objective and unbiased, I would have let this piece in even if it was a League of Legends art piece, because it's just amazingly done. The style is really cool. I love the amazing intensity and control of the styled lines in the piece. Lots of line weight variation, but in a really stylized way, especially the thick border around the edges of the character and the way that they've done thin lines behind the spell effect to really show that glowing effect. It's very clever. The character has a really strong and stylized silhouette as well, so the piece itself is quite minimalistic when it comes to detail or environment and things like that, and yet it's so self-contained and really well done and polished, so thank you for sharing. Our next piece is by artist AntiSkill, one of my personal favourites who has entered the showcase, and it's called Vegeta, and it is a realistic interpretation of Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z. What is not to like about that? Perfectly captured that superiority and sneer of the Saiyan prince in his face and the way he's constantly jealous and scathing of Kakarot. The colour balance, the skin tone, the painting, it's AntiSkill's work through and through. Fantastic job. It's a wonderful piece of work, and I think we're all very jealous of your skill, Mr. AntiSkill. Our next piece is by artist Surfside Aaron, and it's called Frank Frazetta Study O2 Value. So I'm not entirely sure on the naming convention here, but I really like the way that this piece is shaded. It's a grayscale image with very strong darks to lights. It's got a great balance between detail and simple sort of surface shading and rough paint strokes, which is really cool because it can be hard to walk that line. The anatomy of these characters is fantastic, and the way that they're represented is very clean and polished, and the overall composition of the piece is extremely nice to look at. They've done a fantastic job. Next piece is by Spanish artist, and it's called Dire Need of Rest. We have here a warrior mounted atop a dragon who is just finishing off being in some sort of battle, and they're stopping by to get a cool drink. This piece has really nice compositioning. We've got a strong dark foreground in front of these characters, so it's almost as if we're peering at them from, you know, a safe distance from behind a tree, and then we've got a nice strong background with that sort of foggy horizon and cliffs up in the top, with the midground being the feature of the character and the dragon. Very strong and well positioned. Lovely shading and lovely colors. They've done a fantastic job, so thanks for sharing. Next piece by artist Name Not Nature is called Ambushed. It's got a very nice contrasting light feel where you can see clearly where the light source is coming from, and the whole scene is kind of shaded based on that. We've got a nice flowing sense of action here and impending motion. The coloring and positioning of everything is very interesting, and they've done a fantastic job, so keep it up. Next piece by artist BDL Sito is called Color Pencil Portrait, and there's really not much more I can say about this piece other than astounding. It's just got such an elegant portraiture to this. There are areas of this image with a great amount of attention to detail and form and line work, and then there are broader areas which are much more focused on silhouette and smooth, larger areas of shading. There's no fear of mixing the color pencils throughout this image. So for instance, in the hair, even though it's blonde hair, we have mixes of purples and red hues in there. Even though the shirt is brown, we have some reds and crimsons and even blues and greens in there as well. This person knows how to work their color pencils, and this is just an incredible representation of that. Really fantastic work. Next piece by artist JAZZA'S Kenichi is called Tough as Nails, and it's a piece that this artist created as a thank you to their friend for giving them his Cintiq. And it's very clear to me that this artist has made fantastic use of that Cintiq, and their artwork has already improved astoundingly compared to some of the older art that they've sent into the showcase. Really nice, smooth and thin line work, very nice strong colouring, and great anatomy and poses as well. Our next piece is by artist Vimnis2, and it's called The Core. The artist says it only took them an entire semester to finish, so there's obviously a lot that has gone into this work. It's got a really cool and interesting feel of lines being used throughout the image. So the characters, the monster and the person fighting the monster, both have very strong silhouettes and line work throughout the image. This use of lines throughout the characters in the background and in the sky and in the foreground create this really nice sort of whirlpool effect that, in my opinion, I think complements the feeling of motion and action. It's almost as if everything's kind of being pulled around as you're watching this battle take place. The colors are really subtle but really perfect for what they're trying to convey, and it's a really nice nighttime sort of piece with very subtle hints of warm colors in the demon's mouth and in the volcanic sort of sky in the background. Next piece by the very talented Katie the Moo is called Feast, and it is, I believe, a commission done for a World of Warcraft client. Now, I will admit this piece almost nabbed the feature of the week, and not just because we've got this teeny tiny little skull in the top right corner, but because the simplicity and stylization of the characters' faces and the colors, the way everything just really screams through out to you is just astoundingly well done. I knew fairly easily and quickly when I looked at it that the style was of World of Warcraft, and the designs also came across from that, so it was clear that this artist knew how to portray that style. The colors and the tones, the lines, everything comes together really well, and it's very, very enviable in the way it's been pulled off. So fantastic work, keep it up. Our final piece and feature of the week, ladies and gentlemen, is by Alessandra, and it's called Character Study Compilation. This artist was our feature of the week many weeks ago, and it seems that they have come back with a vengeance. Now Alessandra has these 4 characters as separate uploaded art pieces and has compiled them into one for this piece, and I think the amount of effort and detail and work that has gone into each of these individual pieces that have been wonderfully combined for us in this one piece just is so deserving of the front page feature. I can't even begin to explain how incredible this artwork is. It is very reminiscent to me of the Icewind Dale portraits, that sort of feel where you have these very clear characterizations that come across. The environments that they're in and the power they convey and the tone that the image sets, they all are very unique and individual and yet flow together as one form very well. So ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to a conclusion of this week's artist showcase, and I gotta say this week had some really high level art. All these pieces are all really enviable, and it's somewhat intimidating to have started an artist showcase where most of the work that I'm showcasing is so much better than anything I could want to achieve. But in that same boat, I'm here with you guys watching these artworks and being inspired and being encouraged to try and improve myself. So thank you all so much for your participation. I can't even thank you all enough for how much you bring some life to this channel and the showcase, and by turning it into, rather than a draw with Jazza and me doing random things, into a community where you all draw with me, you know, and show me your work and inspire me, as well as hopefully the other way around. Anyways, thank you very much for joining me for this week's artist showcase, and if you want to join future artist showcase, make sure to wait to the end of the video to find an explanation, or in the links in the description. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you later. Do you want a chance for your artwork to be featured in the next showcase video? Upload your artwork to the art portal on newgrounds.com. Send me a link to your artwork by going to jazza.newgrounds.com and click Send a Private Message. Make sure to include the word showcase in capital letters in the message title and give me a link to your piece of art. Please be considerate of my time by submitting no more than 1 image per week to the artist showcase, and make sure it's on newgrounds.com. Thanks for checking out this week's showcase. I look forward to seeing your art in the future.